When you need advice, come to Ben and Kelly. It's group therapy on 99.7 DJX.
Josh says, hey, Ben and Kelly, I'm in a little bit of a predicament. Want to know how big of a deal this is. I'm currently dating a great, successful girl. We're serious. We've talked about marriage and kids.
Oh, wow.
Here's the issue. We both have dogs.
Okay.
I have a 7-year-old lab that I spend a ton of time training. I've owned since she was a puppy.
Okay.
My girlfriend has a small mix that's super food aggressive toward other dogs and in limited interactions, kids as well.
Oop.
She actually took food from a 3-year-old at a cafe. So I mentioned that I'm not sure I would trust her dog with a kid, and she said that if she had to get rid of her dog, my dog had to go as well. She won't take the dog to training, let me discipline the dog, or even recognize this is a problem. She has said that once a kid comes along, the dog will bond. Everything's going to be fine. Any advice on that?
Wow, she's blind to what is happening here.
Yeah, the fact that she doesn't understand or recognize that there is an issue is the problem.
Yeah, well,
And it doesn't sound like they're under one roof yet.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. And it's probably better that way right now because it doesn't sound like their dogs would get along with one another.
Well, no, it doesn't sound like her dog is going to get along with anybody, which is fine, you know, if they're used to being the only dog in the house and they feel threatened, but that's where training could probably be beneficial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I get what Josh is saying. He's like, well, my dog's not the problem, or I don't think my dog is going to be a problem because, you know, I guess you never really are 100% sure, but
his dog's had training.
Knows
how to behave and is
a little older,
socialized with other dogs. Is fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think about I have a dog right now. Now, my old dog, I would have gone to the mat with. My new dog, he's still in his puppy phase, and I just get rid of him.
Oh, okay. You'd be like, you know what?
I'm like, you know what?
It was a good run.
It was a good run, buddy.
It was a good run.
You know what? It's a good run. You can.
It's not working out.
I'm sure someone else will find joy in you, but
you're going to find a new daddy. It's going to be great.
I kid, but yeah, yeah, I mean, they're your children for especially a lot of people, you know, your animals. So
well, sure, and I'm sure she's probably. A lot of times people get a little offended if they feel like they're being told that their child is a problem, their dog is the problem. Yeah, and so she's just trying to. She's brushing it off.
Are we kind of trying to figure out how do we get her, or what are the words to say to her to get her to realize that maybe the dog needs to go into training, or that the dog is the problem, her dog is the problem, that sort of thing? Yeah,
I think if they have a future of being under one roof at some point, I think, that she needs to recognize that as it is right now, it's probably not going to mesh well. So to make things go smoother, it probably would be beneficial for her dog to get used to being around another dog.
Now, Stephanie texted in and said, my animals are my children. I'll never get rid of my babies for anyone. So it sounds like if Stephanie were Josh's girlfriend, she'd be like, well, door. Bye, Josh.
Deuces.
See ya. If you don't like Fluffy, we don't like you.
We gone.
Yeah. All right. 502-795-1997. Would love to hear your story of how you navigated a blended family with animals.
Yeah, and to be fair, he doesn't want to break up. He just needs some training. Just get her to agree to some training.
All right, take your stories on the way next. Therapy. I always like these ones that get to be a little dramatic. Josh thinks he's found a special person. Loves her. Sees a future. Marriage. Kids. All that. However, she's got a food-aggressive little 3-year-old yapper dog.
Uh-huh.
Now, I say yapper. He doesn't. But yeah, that could be problematic for sure.
Right. And she doesn't see the issue. He just is simply suggesting that maybe her dog gets some training. She's just not seeing any of that. Jessica's like, the compromise shouldn't be you having to get rid of your dog if she gets rid of hers. It should be that her dog gets some training since your dog is already trained. Not sure if you're in a financial position to offer to pay for that cost, but have you ever been out in public, seen a kid severely misbehaving and the parent or parents just seem oblivious to it or are
Right.
making excuses for it, that's the road you're going to go down with kids if this is how she is with her dog. So you have to decide if that's something you are willing to put up with.
Yeah, Lindsay says, hey, I'm a dog trainer, and maybe a private in-home training would be best if she won't physically go to training. This situation could be managed with a little dog, but it's going to be a big lifestyle change, and she would have to be on board. So
yeah, the dog mom has to be on board with training the dog, because if dog mom isn't going to follow through with it, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, Dave.
One thing that I've got to say about this is, I mean, it's not always a one-for-one deal here.
Yeah.
But the way you're a pet parent is the way you're a real parent.
Yeah.
You know, a human parent.
Mm-hmm.
So if she sees there's no problem with the dog, how's she going to react when, you know, she has a son that punches people?
Yes.
Or whatever.
Yeah, she sounds like the type of person to be like, well, what are they doing to deserve being punched?
To me, that reaction is just a major red flag.
Yep.
Dave.
A lot of people are pointing to that.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks.
Hey, Amy, so what's your thought?
Well, I think it's kind of a red flag. If they're having issues just conversating about the dog, I think if he's looking to have children with this person, this is kind of a red flag to how that's going to go as well.
Yeah, a lot of people are kind of equating the whole, you know what, dogs, children, you know, the way you raise them, kind of similar.
Yeah.
It's going to reflect, what kind of a parent she's going to be. Yep.
Yeah. So if they're having issues even discussing training for the dog, you know, I think they're going to be worlds apart, especially when it comes to kids as well.
Amy, there
100%.
are not a lot of people who are seeing a bright future for these two.
Yeah, no, there's not.
No. Agreed.
Oh, gosh.
Amy, thank you so much for the phone call.
Absolutely. You guys have a great day.
Andrew, the Love Doctor.
Listen, she's got to come to some kind of compromise. And I get that animals are people's children. Trust me, I honestly do. But think about this for one perspective. If she's not willing to compromise when a baby comes along, what else is she not going to be willing to compromise? I mean, you're going to marry this person, spend the rest of your life with this person. So that, to me, it might be a little bit of a red flag for him. So if she's not willing to compromise with the dog issue and having a baby, what else is she not going to be willing to compromise? There are classes out there that teach dogs to be, you know, around kids and so forth and training. Exactly. That needs to happen. If it doesn't happen, I'm not so sure he's going to be marrying this woman.
A lot of people are saying that. It's just, this is very indicative of how if she is not willing to even see the problem and or try to compromise and acknowledge his feelings, then that's going to be problematic for anything down the road.
That is exactly correct. You got to look down the road because, trust me, you don't only want to do it once, guys.
All right. Thank you, Andrew, the Love Doctor. Appreciate it.
I found two people that think it's going to be fine.
Okay.
Allie says, ever seen the movie Marley and Me? Calm down. And then Becky says,
Wait,
I have
what
known
happens
dogs.
what happens in Marley and Me?
Well, Marley is like the worst dog on planet Earth.
Right.
But then they love him.
But no. But I'm saying that there's no second dog being put into that.
But they had kids. They had kids.
Okay.
And
Well,
they end up loving Marley. Even though
yeah,
he's
but
an awful,
okay,
awful,
it's
awful
not
dog.
quite like Marley and Me. All right.
Okay. Becky says, I've known dogs that are dog-kid aggressive, but have bonded with their kid no problem. I feel like you shouldn't judge the dog until they live together and see how the two dogs interact. As someone in vet medicine, I've seen a lot of success stories that I thought would be terrible.
Oh, okay. So there is a sliver of hope.
Right.
Josh.
But he's like, do I roll the dice and like go down, get to that point where we are engaged, we are living under one roof, whatever?
All is not lost yet.
Okay.
I think there's some groundwork still to be laid in this.
Okay, so maybe he says, all right, listen, if we can try it your way and just be like, it's going to be fine. And then if it's not fine, though, will you agree to training? Like maybe he lays down that kind of ultimatum, like, all right, fine. If you're not worried about it, we'll roll the dice. But if it's not working out well, will you, A, recognize it, and B, be willing to do something about it with training?
Man, all right. Well, hey, good luck. I think there are a lot of suggestions and a lot of paths to take with this. But yeah, good luck with that, Josh. Thank you for reaching out to us.